catching up to you. Just going to go to the bottom here. You guys should have had no trouble with the top stuff. So this guy. So instead of looking for factors of 8 that add to be 10, which would be impossible, the first number is not a 1, it's got to be taken into account because it's going to mess with all the numbers. We saw that happen on the first part at the top of the page. So I've got to look at 3 times 8. Now factors 24 that make 10, everybody found 6 and 4. Or 4 and 6, it don't matter. So it doesn't matter. We saw this the other day, that it doesn't matter what order I put the middle terms in, it'll actually work out. So if you put 3x squared plus 6x plus 4x plus 8. Now quick little word. That is 6 and 4, but I put 6x and 4x because they're supposed to add to be 10x. Don't leave off your x or else you're writing an untrue thing. Untrue. Right? So make sure these numbers you're finding are the coefficients of the middle dude. Right? You got to actually have those variables there or the whole thing goes to shit. So what comes out of the first two? Good, a 3, and I can take 1x out. X plus 2, I like it. Plus 4. And I know I can do the next step because those two are the same. Alright, sorry. This is my nemesis class over there. X plus 2. 3x plus 4. So if you guys wrote the 4 first and the 6 second.
We should use like Walter Newman.
No, I did the other day. My evening class, it's loud too.
I don't think you can actually hear it.
Really?
It's that loud that they can hear it.
Oh, that's a good little special. That's a good little What is
What's the matter? It's a woman. Yeah.
What kind of class?
I have no idea. Good time. She spoke with a French accent, but the movie's in English. I don't know something. All right, guys. Part B. I don't care as long as they shut up. I don't care. Okay. So first, what do I do? Well, I like it though. Good point. I haven't said this because I kind of know this is true, but you should always try GCF first. Because if I can take a 5 out, kick ass. I don't have to do this weird new shit. I can just do the stuff we did before. But will a 5 come out? No, it's damn. So if you look at that handout from last time, there's a problem that I had a 2 first, but the 2 came out. So I didn't have to do this whole process. If that number comes out, it don't. Shit, so I got to do good 30. Factors of 30 that make negative 13, so they're both going to have to be negative. Yeah. So when this number is positive, they have to be the same sign. So they're going to be the sign of the guy in the middle, which kind of makes sense. If they're negative, they have to be opposite signs. And the bigger one is going to be the sign of the guy in the middle. Okay, we'll see. So now I can rewrite this. The 5x squared is still there. The 6 is still there. I just break this up into... And again, it doesn't matter which order you put these in. It has to work both ways. And before I get too far, coming back to this just for a second, I like the fact that somebody started to do this. I'm not picking anybody, I'm not even going to look at the person. So, And it's not a bad thing, because the whole idea is to try to make 4 terms, right? So there's a lot of ways to make 4 terms. I can make 10 become 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 28 plus negative 18 makes 10, right? There's an infinite number of freaking ways. This process finds the 2 numbers that are the only numbers that will make the grouping work. That's why we do this process, instead of just arbitrarily picking 4 terms. Does that kind of make sense? That's what this thing does for me. I want to make this become 4 terms. This is the way to do it so that it will work. So now if I group these, what comes out?
5.
Notice how that x is positive and this poor little dude is negative. So you're going to take a negative 3. It's going to change both signs. So if you put this, you did something wrong right there, but you really do something wrong if you go to the next step. There's not a damn way to go from here to the next step, because there's nothing common to these two. What mistake did I make? Yeah, I put a plus. I'm silly, man. I took a negative out. That positive better become minus. And now I know I'm on the right track. I like it. I'm still going to have people that just give me the next step, even if those aren't the same. Just throw it all in there and hope. But it doesn't make sense. Why can I do the next step? Because I can take x minus 2 out of both. Because it's in both. That's why this step here makes sense. So if they're not the same, that step won't make any sense. Yes?
I have a question. If you do flip the 2 terms, like say it was 5x squared minus 3x, and then minus 10x plus 6, you wouldn't be able to take many terms out. 5x.
Do you see how here the 5x minus 3 is on the outside?
Yeah.
Over there, the 5x minus 3 is on the inside. Same thing with the x minus 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter which order these are in. Now you put them in the order that you can immediately see what to do. There's nothing wrong with that, but it does not matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Sorry. Meatballs. Good. What do I? Okay. So this last dude here. So what number am I working with? Good. 8 times negative 25 is negative 200. So I know what's got to be true about the 2 numbers. Since that comes out to be negative 200, they have to be... They can't both be negative, because then they would multiply to be positive. They have to be different signs. So in actuality, they don't add to be negative 10. They subtract to be that, because one of them's negative. Does that make sense? So to me, instead of writing all the possible values, because maybe you won't think of it, I would rather start saying, well, what adds to be negative 10? Like 30 and negative 20. No, Jeff, you can do better. Negative 30 and 20, that adds to be negative 10, right? But what does that multiply to be? Negative 600. Oh shit, that's too much. All right, so I back it off of it. Negative 20 and 10. They add to be negative 10. And what they multiply to be? Sweet! So then I want to use negative 20 and 10. Sweet. So the one place that I have a suggestion for you about the order to put the middle terms in is if one of them's negative, put that one first. So that you don't have a negative in the middle. That's where things screw us over, right? So if I have the option, I'm going to put the freaking positive thing in the middle. So what I mean by this is, if it's 8 squared, put the minus 20x first. And then the plus 10x second. So then that's a plus. It's not going to screw me over. Minus 25. And now you just group. Comes out of these two. 4x. I like it. So then you get 2x minus 5. Become a parenthesis. Become a 5. There. 4x minus 5. Pop. Or the other way around, of course, right? Who cares what order you multiply 2 numbers in? Okay, cool. All right. So if you have that handout from before, the one with a lot of writing, the top of the handout, I try to make it the quick reference guide, right? So far we've talked about, you first look for GCF always. So I'm looking at the top of this, the little quick reference guide. Yes, ma'am? Yeah. Then you count the number of terms. If there's 4 terms or more, you try grouping. We've talked about that. If there are 3 terms, you do this kind of stuff. Depending on if there's a 1 first, that's easier. If there's not a 1 first, oh shit, but now we have a process that's not that much more difficult. The numbers just could get uglier than normal, but oh well. So the only thing we have left is what to do if there's only 2 terms. So I figure I should talk about it. Oh, you have. Go back. Thank you. So let me start off with something that doesn't have 2 terms. Let's see. Yes. Sure. And then I'm going to transition into one that does have 2 terms. We'll see if we can see a similarity here. General process we can use. Now stay with me now. So I need 2 numbers that do what? First number is a 1, so this is like a thank God problem. This is, okay, good. First number is a 1. I just need the numbers that work. I need 2 numbers that do what? Multiply by 9. Add to negative 6. Well, that's obviously... Yeah, negative 3, negative 3. I love it. Now, what if the middle term is missing? Like this. You see how the middle term is missing? I mean, that's a really good way to look at a certain type of 2-term problem is that the middle term canceled. So here, why did the middle term not cancel? Because negative 3 and negative 3 makes negative 6. So how do I make the middle term disappear? It can't be negative 3 and negative 3. It has to be negative 3 and positive 3. Don't those cancel? And what's negative 3 times positive 3? So I still need factors of negative 9 that add to be 0 now. So the shortcut with this is, do you guys realize it's always going to be the square root of this? It's always going to be... This number has to be a square rootable number, a number you can cut in half. Because the only way you can add to be 0 is if you're the exact same number, just with a different sign. So the shortcut for this is remarkably enough called a difference of squares. Because that's obviously squared, and 9 is 3 squared. So you break the x in half, x. You break the 9 in half, multiplicatively, 3, 3. And you put minus plus, so you make sure the middle term cancels. That's how difference of squares works. Let's do another. So we've modified our approach a little bit. I really don't have to think of it the same way we did before. I can now realize it's 2 terms, it's a difference, and I can cut everything in half. So then I cut everything in half, put minus plus or plus minus, it doesn't matter. So let's do several more. So you got 11. It's 2 terms, and you can cut everybody in half multiplicatively. It's beautiful.
7.
Good, I like it. So what goes where? What goes here?
Y plus.
Yeah, y makes y squared. 7 makes 49. Plus minus or minus plus, it doesn't matter. So what must be true about this in order for this whole thing to work? Could this be a plus there? So if I add x squared plus 16. Ain't no way, right? So to multiply by 16, you have to have the same sign. So if you thought it was x minus 4, you're wrong, because you get minus 4x is minus 8x. Do you have a minus 8x? No, so that can't be the answer. The same reason that can't be the answer. So the reason this works is the exact reason why this don't work. It's because this negative allows them to be different signs, and this positive doesn't. I like it. And the whole thing is to kill the middle term. You're trying to kill the middle term, they have to be different signs to let that happen. Okay, I like it. Maybe. So once you start to realize what a difference in squares looks like, then I can make one that looks horrendous, and it's easy. Let's see if you guys agree. I like to make this big giant step. Oh yeah, you do, Jeff, don't you? I do. That's yummy. Alright. This is where everybody kind of freaks out a little bit, right? You went from y squared minus 49 to that bullshit, Jeff. Yes, I did. I just did. How many terms are in that problem? 2. So it can only be a squares, or what we're about to learn after this is a cubes. It can only be one of those two kind of forms. And can everything be cut in half multiplicatively? Yes. 9, 3, 3, 8, 10, 8, 5, 8, 5, 64, 8, 8. You guys with me? So all the powers have to be even, and all the numbers have to be squares. If that's true, I don't care how much shit I put up there. I don't care how much stuff I load it with. You just cut everything in half and put a minus plus. So how do I cut? Give myself some more room. 9, 8, 10 in half would be 3, 8, 5, 3, 8, 5. So that went, and then 64, blah, 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 blah. Good, 8y cubed z6, 8y cubed z6. Plus, minus, done. Next. I'm guaranteed this will work. I don't even really have to check it, but if you wanted to, I mean, I get 24 a5 y cubed z6 minus 24 a5 y cubed z6. So of course the middle terms cancel. I designed it to happen that way. Same numbers, different signs, middle terms are going to cancel. Yay! And that makes me end up with 2 terms. Yes, no, maybe so? Alright. You guys try this one here. Give me one that's not too crazy. My Roman numerals are getting way up there now. Shit. Alright, start with that one. Bless you. Alright, so try those 2. This is a you get it or you don't situation here. There's no real work to do here, really. 2 terms. It can only be squares or cubes. This one's very obviously squares. We haven't talked about cubes, so it's not going to be cubes yet. M squared, M and M. Real slim shady. Plus or minus? 9, 9. 8, 5. And then this guy, D plus 6m minus 6m. All right. Please let that be so beautifully nice. That's remarkably nice.
Do those all day.
All right, I like it. Yeah, I make them all that way. Oh, that's too bad. So, one last one, I'll let us out of here. Roman numeral 8. All right. Sure. The way that's written right now, is that a difference of squares? Can you cut y 4 1/2? Yes. Can you cut 8 1/2 multiplicatively? What times itself is 8? No. Sounds like there should be an answer to that, but it's ugly. Right? It's 2.828, blah, blah, blah. If you multiply that by itself, you get 8. 50. No. There's no square root of 50 that looks nice. So, but what is it that I haven't done that I'm supposed to always do first?
Almost 8, 2 out.
Totally. So here's one reason why you always try GCF first is maybe it makes it doable. Right now it's not doable, but if I take a 2 out, what am I left with?
4 wide. 25.
Now, are all these good? 4 and 25 are both squares. See, now it's doable. So that GCF actually made the problem doable. That's why you always look for it first. It either makes all the numbers smaller, which is nice, or it also makes it possible to do the damn problem. That's kind of nice. So then I end up with 2. How do I break this up? 2y squared, 2y squared, minus plus 5, 5. Cool. All right. That's plenty for today. So tomorrow we got the quiz. I'll have the practice test, and we'll finish up factoring tomorrow. Oh, the bonus one, I'll do that next time. I really just put that on there to keep people busy if they got done with it early.
Oh, can I get one of those spiritual?
Oh, the handout from today? This guy. Just that one.